In Laboratory Reddit, today's story is...
I agreed to watch my sister's kids for $1,500 for a week, but when I called her, she said, "You'll have to deal with it for another month without pay. Consider it my wedding gift," and hung up. My impulsive decision unleashed a family war that no one expected. My sister, 33, and I, 28, have never been very close, but I still agreed to watch her kids while she would be on her honeymoon, basically because she offered me a good sum of money, $1,500 for a week of childcare. Since her usual babysitter had fallen ill, and she needed to resolve this unexpected situation, I agreed. It seemed like a good deal. They were just 3 kids old enough to take care of themselves for basic things. My sister has been married twice before, and none of those marriages worked out. But she has 3 children in total, 11-year-old twins and my 6-year-old nephew. They're not that young, so I thought it would be a simple and well-paid job, which is why I accepted without hesitating too much. The first week went by without problems, but when the weekend passed and she didn't show up, I started to worry. I tried calling her unsuccessfully for several days. Finally, after 10 days, she answered my call to inform me that she and her new husband had decided to extend their vacation because they had fallen in love with the place. Suddenly, I realized that I would be stuck with the kids for a month, something totally impossible for me since I had only committed to 1 week. When I told her this, she replied that I simply had to deal with it because the kids had nowhere else to stay. My parents live in another state, and our ex-husbands are barely involved in their upbringing. I wouldn't know how to contact them either because we've never maintained a relationship. I started to panic and told her she couldn't do this to me, that I just wanted my money so she could come pick up her kids, but then she dropped another bomb. She wasn't planning to pay me anything. She confessed that she had only promised me the money because she knew I wouldn't accept otherwise, suggesting that I consider it a wedding gift. Before I could protest, she hung up and stopped answering my calls. So in a burst of frustration, I did something impulsive. I called Child Protective Services, CPS, that same day, just a few hours after our conversation. I was furious about her manipulation, and that's when everything completely spiraled out of control. Since then, my family has been outraged with me, but honestly, I don't know what else I could have done in such a situation. And for me, it wasn't just about the money, but the fact that she abandoned her children with me without caring if I could take care of them for almost a month. I had made it very clear to her that I could only dedicate a week to them, as afterward I would have to resume my normal work schedule. I work from home, but it's still work. Having kids around is a constant distraction. Her attitude during that call angered me so much that I decided to contact CPS. And frankly, I don't think I did anything terrible because, even after the official visit and all the interviews, I agreed to keep the kids with me until she returned. They contacted her and she came back within a few days to pick them up. The investigation is ongoing, but since there's no pattern of neglect, it's unlikely she'll lose custody. She'll probably just receive a warning and have to attend mandatory parenting counseling sessions. However, my family is acting as if I've destroyed her life, which I find tremendously unfair. They don't see that what she tried to do to me was also unfair to me. I think my parents shouldn't be so biased in their judgment. I feel awful, so I need to know, was I wrong to call Child Protective Services because my sister deceived me about the child care agreement? Edits. Some more details. My sister has full custody of her children, and they only see their fathers 1 week a month. Since we're not close, I've never asked her about her divorces. I only know that she receives child support from both fathers, enough to live comfortably. It's not like $1,500 is a large amount for her. She could perfectly well pay me what she promised. Additionally, I attended her wedding with her new husband recently. It was quite a luxurious celebration, and I know her husband and his family paid for all the expenses. He comes from a family with prosperous businesses. That's why I don't understand why my sister is being so stingy with the money. As for my parents, there has never been a favorite child between us. They were always fair with both of us. I don't understand why they're suddenly acting this way with me. They've been constantly making me feel guilty, and it's been very difficult to have a real conversation with them. I've tried to explain my side to them, but it seems like all they care about is that I called CPS. They think I acted with bad intentions, without realizing that I was left with no options and couldn't afford to care for 3 children for a month for free. I'm a freelance UI designer for a startup, and I have a considerable workload. During that week, I did most of my work in the afternoons and evenings, making sure to attend to the kids during the day. This is not a sustainable way of living for me. I couldn't maintain it for a month, much less without getting paid. I don't make a fortune in my job. I have a moderate salary, and if I had to take care of these kids for a month, I would have to consider the increase in food, utilities, and other expenses. I don't understand how they expected me to sacrifice my personal and professional life just like that. I feel guilty for having called CPS, but it also hurts that they don't think about my situation and the consequences for me. Honestly, I feel terrible about this whole matter. Update 1. Thank you for all the comments. It's been 2 weeks since my original post. The CPS investigation is still ongoing, and my parents aren't speaking to me. I had an argument with them a few days ago because they kept making me feel guilty and were trying to convince me to speak to the CPS officers again to make it sound like I had exaggerated my accusations. They didn't seem to care about the legal problems this could cause me. They only cared about getting my sister out of trouble, and that hurt me deeply. I told them I wouldn't do such a thing and finally exploded. If CPS was still investigating my sister, there were probably good reasons. Instead of looking for ways to blame me and turn me into the villain, they should talk to my older sister and tell her to stop being a selfish and stingy person. They responded that I was being selfish and unreasonable, and that they had tried to raise me well, but since I was determined to think only of myself, they were done with me. After that, we haven't spoken again. My sister and I haven't exchanged words either since she came to pick up her kids after being contacted by CPS. She didn't even look at me or address me, which is fine, I guess, because I don't know what I would have said to her. Her husband was also with her and completely ignored me. They acted as if I didn't exist, which is ironic considering they were in my house. Anyway, I was glad when they left. I was only sad to see the kids leave because I'm sure they won't let me see them again. They're lovely children, and if I had more free time, I probably wouldn't have minded taking care of them for a month, as long as I was paid for it. Speaking of which, I still haven't received the promised money. I'll wait a few more days before contacting my sister to demand it. I know my parents will be even angrier if I do, but we're already estranged anyway. I'm not going to give up the money I'm owed just to please them. As I said, I'm sure $1,500 isn't a big deal for my sister, especially when she promised it herself. I don't understand why she's taking so long. If I were in her place, by now I would have sent the money, if only out of shame, but she obviously lacks it, because she keeps avoiding the inevitable. I'm not going to let it go. I'll get my money one way or another. So far, she has caused me many problems, and although I know she thinks the same of me, I think I was justified. She had no right to put me in such a complicated situation suddenly and expect me to accept it without question. I felt guilty about calling CPS, but not anymore. She brought it on herself, and if my parents feel sorry for her, I don't. They didn't hear how she spoke to me on the phone. I tried to explain it to them, but they had already decided I was the bad guy. Well, I'll play that role if they insist so much. Update 2. A couple of days have passed since my last update. This morning, I finally decided to contact my sister to demand the money she owes me. In my message, I made it very clear that I had fulfilled my part. I took care of the kids for a week, as we agreed, and now it was her turn to fulfill her part by paying me what she promised. I waited a few hours, and while I was working, I received her response. I was naive to expect anything from her now, because what I had done was unforgivable. She added that if I still expected to get paid, I was delusional. She asked me not to contact her again because I had already caused her enough problems, and she was busy solving the mess I had created for no reason. She was done with me, and we had nothing more to say to each other. It was very frustrating because maybe she didn't have anything to say to me, but I had a lot to say to her. I tried calling her several times until I realized she had blocked me, but I wasn't going to give up. I had already decided, so I contacted several friends and told them the whole situation, including my part of responsibility, because I didn't want to make it seem like I was embellishing my version. I was completely honest, and they agreed that I had acted correctly. The fact that I work from home doesn't mean I'm available all the time. Besides, I was nice enough to take care of the kids for a week for the agreed amount, but that didn't give her the right to extend it to a month and then refuse to pay me. This validated my feelings, and when I asked them for help, they immediately agreed. I gave them my sister's number so they could send messages and call her demanding that she pay me for taking care of the kids, or else I would make the whole situation public, which would complicate her current situation even more. For a moment, I felt like I was going too far, but honestly, it wasn't even about the money anymore. It was about what I deserved, and I wasn't going to put up with any more abuse from my sister. We already had a tense and mostly negative relationship, and she had decided to strain it even more unnecessarily. Now she would have to face the consequences. Update 3. Over the last few days, my friends and I have been trying to communicate with my sister to make her feel some shame and pay me what she owes me. In the comments of my last post, many were telling me that I was taking things too far and that if I didn't urgently need the money, I should let it go. But I think I've made it clear that it's not just about the money, it's about how my sister has treated me all my life. I've mentioned several times that we don't get along. The only reason we attend family events and maintain appearances is to not embarrass our family. But right now, I care little about that. My patience has reached its limit and I can no longer pretend. It's not just the money, it's what a horrible person she has been to me almost my entire life. During our childhood and adolescence, she bullied me to the point of making me cry daily because of the terrible things she would say to me. She didn't just criticize my appearance. She attacked my intelligence, my personality, my lack of social life, making me feel so insecure that I ended up isolating myself. This happened from middle school through high school, while she was already in college. It wasn't until her first marriage and the birth of her first child that she stopped bullying me, but she never apologized for the damage caused. One day, she simply started acting as if everything was fine, and I was forced to go along with it because my parents didn't want me to dig up the past. Since everything seemed to be going well, I was supposed to pretend nothing was wrong too. It was hard to forget, but I tried. However, deep down, I never really forgot, and I don't think anyone in my situation could. What I experienced with her was psychologically exhausting. As an adult, I needed therapy to be able to talk about it and process it. So yes, that's why we don't get along, but even so, I agreed to take care of her kids only because she was going to pay me. The least she could have done was fulfill that, but instead, she tried to manipulate me, as she used to do when we were children. I'm sure for her it's not about the money either. It's about control, about humiliating me and forcing me to do what she wants. If my parents can't see that, then they're intentionally blind or they simply don't care. And it's tremendously unfair to me that everyone insists on making me the villain when I clearly am not. I always tried to stay away from my sister. Even as little kids, I tried not to bother her or get in her way. But she always found a way to bully me. And it's the same thing that's happening now. She could have asked any of her friends to help her with the kids, but she chose me. I should have seen it coming, but I was carried away by financial need. That was my big mistake, and now my whole life is upside down. My parents still aren't talking to me, and I don't know if they ever will. If my sister has told them about my attempt to recover the money, they'll probably push me away for good. But I can't worry about that anymore. I thought they had always been impartial with both of us, but I was wrong. Because now they're being clearly unfair. I deeply resent how everyone is treating me. I've weighed the pros and cons of making this situation public, and I think I'll have to do it to pressure her to pay me. She has no right to manipulate me and thinks she can get away with it. I accept that she doesn't love or respect me, but I don't accept that she treats me this way. Even if my parents get angrier with me, I won't let that stop me from getting what I deserve. Update 4. I finally made it public. I posted everything that has happened so far, and, surprisingly, most people support me. I had been mulling it over for days, but after 5 days of reflection, I posted it last night. This morning, while checking notifications before starting work, I saw that most of the comments were on my side. Many people who knew my sister in high school and college reached out to confirm that she was always a bully, that I wasn't the only person she had treated this way. Better yet, many commented that she has always been obsessed with money. I think that's true because all her husbands and boyfriends have been rich. It can't be a coincidence that it happens so many times in a row. In any case, money isn't my main issue. What infuriates me is that she thinks she can do whatever she wants and get away with it. I'm glad others feel the same way. I didn't expect the post to have such an impact, but it has been shared by several people, mainly acquaintances of my sister. Even relatives have shown me their support, something I didn't expect. I thought they would side with my parents and sister, but I'm grateful they're doing the right thing. If this doesn't manage to shame her and get her to pay me, I don't know what will. At this point, even if she doesn't pay me, at least I'll have the satisfaction of people knowing what she's really like. And I think for her, that would be the perfect punishment. First, the CPS investigation, and now this. I no longer care if they say I ruined her life, because she did the same to me for years when I was little. She never repented or acknowledged it, so I don't feel the need to do so now. What goes around comes around. I think my parents and sister are about to learn that. Update 5. I finally got it. She unblocked me and sent me a message saying how horrible I had been to her. She called me a loser, greedy, and stingy. According to her, I want everyone to feel as miserable as I do, because I'll never be able to find happiness in my own life. So far, I had been successful in making others bitter, but now she was going to eliminate me from her life as if I had never existed, something she should have done from the beginning. She also told me that our parents hate me, that they want nothing to do with me, and that they have practically planned to disinherit me. I guess she thought this would make me feel bad, but it only made me reflect on her audacity to tell me all this when she was the one who caused the situation. In any case, what I really wanted was my money, and I'm glad I got it. After sending me that message, she blocked me again, but I don't care anymore. Once I received the payment, I took down my post and shared another one explaining that I had been paid, along with the message she had sent me. I thought everyone should know that she believes all of this is my fault. I know it's petty, but I don't care anymore. I think I've suffered in silence for too long. I'm fine with being a little petty for once. I've tried to be kind, respectful, and handle this with dignity, but it hasn't worked, and I think with her, dignity will never work. To beat her, I had to stoop to her level, and I don't regret it. I did what was necessary, and I got what I wanted. If my parents never speak to me again, I accept that. It's their loss, honestly. I will no longer apologize for my feelings and actions. I can't keep dealing with this situation. They have been extremely inconsiderate to me, so I no longer care what others think. I have my friends and some family members who are willing to support me. For now, that's enough. If they think I'll come crawling back, apologizing and begging for forgiveness, they're very wrong, because that's not going to happen. Update 6. It's been 2 weeks since I got my money back, and I've learned that a few days ago the CPS investigation finally concluded. Apparently, it has been decided that the children will spend half the week with their fathers and the other half with their mother, unlike the previous arrangement where they could only see their fathers 1 week a month. I guess this is because she had lied about everything, even about the fathers not wanting to maintain contact with their children. It seems that they actually did want to be involved, but she was preventing it. I'm glad this is happening now. Additionally, she will have to attend parenting counseling sessions. And that's it. I don't know exactly what happened. I have no way of finding out or confirming anything. This is just a rumor that has been circulating. But if it's true, I'm fine with it. I don't care anymore. I just hope the kids are okay. Apart from that, I'm not interested in what she's facing. I think she and my family have already caused me enough problems. I don't want to think about them. I just want to focus on my work and get on with my life. My parents and I still aren't speaking, and I've been blocked for quite some time, but it doesn't hurt as much anymore. In fact, I don't even care. I hardly think about them, and I'm too busy with my own life to worry about this now. I just hope that with time, it will matter less and less.